Hello everyone! In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to import GIS data using the AllInOneGIS plugin in Unreal Engine. First, enable the plugin and restart your project. Once the project restarts, make sure the plugin is enabled in the Plugins panel. By default, the plugin window will open automatically, but you can also open it anytime from the toolbar using the globe icon. Before importing any GIS data, you need to create a geo-referencing system actor in your current map. Right now, I'm setting the latitude and longitude to 24 and 54, which is approximately the center of the UAE. Once your geo-referencing system is ready, save your map and select your GIS file using the Browse button. I've added the test files in both the Fab listing description and the YouTube video description. For this demonstration, I'm importing a UAE GeoJSON file. As you can see, the plugin displays useful file information such as the total number of features, property keys, and the list of all available attributes. In the Import Settings section, you can select a material for the imported geometry. Let me quickly create an emissive material. I'm increasing the emissive intensity because the mesh scale is relatively large compared to Unreal Engine's transform system. Once the material is selected, you'll notice different geometry settings. Some options are currently disabled because this GeoJSON contains polygon data only, not line or point data. You also have the option to separate meshes per feature. This means the plugin can either generate one combined mesh or create separate meshes for each feature class. When using separate mesh per feature, you can assign actor names using any property key available in your file. For example, if your dataset contains a name field, that value can automatically be used as the actor name inside the Unreal Engine hierarchy. If your GIS file contains line data, the plugin will automatically show line-related import settings, such as importing lines as meshes or splines. Similarly, if your file contains point data, you can assign a custom point mesh. By default, the plugin uses a simple sphere mesh. You can also choose whether to generate collision for the imported geometry. Next is the Spawn at World Origin option. This setting controls how GIS coordinates are converted into Unreal Engine world coordinates. If Spawn at World Origin is enabled, the imported data will ignore the geo-referencing system and spawn directly at Unreal Engine's world origin. If it is disabled, the plugin will use the geo-referencing system actor you created earlier. Since our geo-referencing system is centered around the UAE, and we are importing UAE GIS data, the geometry will automatically appear near the center of our scene. The plugin also supports attribute table export. This allows you to convert GeoJSON or Shapefile attribute tables directly into Unreal Engine data tables. If you enable auto-increment, Unreal will automatically generate row names such as row_0, row_1, and so on. Alternatively, you can use an existing property key from your dataset, such as an ID or name field, as the row identifier. Ideally, this value should be unique. Now that everything is configured, let's click Import. If Data Table Export is enabled, Unreal Engine may freeze for a few seconds while processing the attribute data. Once the import is complete, you'll see a new data folder containing the generated data table. Each column represents a property key from the GIS file, along with its corresponding values. Since this dataset contains only one feature, we currently see only one row. You can also see the imported static mesh actor in the scene. The actor contains a GeoJSON data component, which stores metadata such as the source file path and feature information. The imported mesh also contains a mesh component with the selected material applied. You can even save the generated procedural mesh as a static mesh asset directly into your content browser. And now, as you can see, the full UAE boundary has been imported successfully into Unreal Engine. Next, let's import a shapefile. I'm using another UAE boundary dataset to keep things simple. This shapefile contains 7 records and 3 fields. It includes 6 multipolygons and 1 polygon. Let's select the same material and disable data table export for faster importing. With data table export disabled, the import finishes almost instantly. Now you can see both the GeoJSON and shapefile boundaries imported into the same location. They look slightly different because the source datasets themselves are different. Since both imports are using the same geo-referencing system actor, they align perfectly in the scene. One important thing to note: because the plugin generates procedural meshes, normals may occasionally face the wrong direction depending on the source data. If that happens, simply enable the two-sided option in your material settings and the mesh will render correctly. I've added the Fab link in the description below, so feel free to check out the plugin. Currently, the plugin supports Unreal Engine 5.6 and 5.7, and we're planning to add support for even more GIS formats in future updates. Now let's quickly test a GeoTIFF file. When selecting a TIFF file, the plugin displays useful metadata such as resolution, number of bands, and compression algorithm information. You can import the GeoTIFF either as a textured plane or as heightmap data. You can also define a maximum import resolution. For this example, I'm enabling spawn at world origin because this GeoTIFF is not located in the UAE region. Without that option enabled, it would spawn very far away from our current scene. Now let's click Import. As you can see, the TIFF file appears correctly at the world origin. This means you can import virtually any GeoTIFF file directly into Unreal Engine. The plugin also includes built-in failsafe protections. For example, if your dataset contains more than 10,000 features, or if the GeoTIFF resolution exceeds 16K, the plugin will automatically display a warning message. If your system is powerful enough, you can continue the import process. Otherwise, you can cancel the operation and split your GIS data into smaller chunks before importing. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.